In May of 2005, the first Forza Motorsport game dropped on the original Xbox. Now, in the 7th iteration, has become not only the best-selling racing game that Microsoft has ever had, but is by far the most visually stunning racing game available today. FM7 went gold in pre-order sales alone, and its advanced modeling, graphics, and physics are only promised by Microsoft to get even better once the Xbox Scorpio or Xbox One X or I don't know, whatever they're calling it this week. I'm Skywarp72 with Cruizers Gaming, and Forza baby, you've come a long way. Let's take a look at the top 10 terrific things Forza Motorsport 7 has to offer. Ever since FM4, there has been a missing persons report filed by Forza players for the beloved auction house. Some players love this feature so much, all they did in-game was buy and sell vehicles in this section, and it was quite addicting. The auction house was spotted years later in the Horizon series, where Turn 10 often tests things to put into Motorsport, or in this case back into Motorsport, and at last has returned home safe and sound, promising to open up for business yet again on November 7th. Welcome home, auction house.
Welcome back. We missed you.
FM7 is not the first to offer customizable drivers by any means, but the sheer number of available driver suits offered up this time around screams that Forza is on top of the heap its first try at it. With a selection of over 300 driver gear sets to unlock through loot crates and leveling up, not only does it add to the spectacle of the game, it also helps out game longevity revealing them all. And I'm still after that Chevy suit. Often mispronounced, more often misunderstood is the new homologation system on FM7. Homologation is basically a set of rules agreed upon by race organizers and officials restricting cars by the way of PI, horsepower, and tire compound. In other words, with more balanced cars and classes, performing well in races comes down to being a better driver than the next guy. In FM5 and 6, players were so pissed off about the loss of certain tracks, some players called Turn 10 be like,
"If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. I will look for you. I will find you."
FM7 didn't resurrect all the drop tracks, but did manage to bring back fan favorites like Mugello, Suzuka, and Maple Valley. Again, talking trends, we'd like to see even more fan-few favorite tracks come back, especially Fujimi Kaido. Motorsport, to me anyway, hasn't been a fun, standalone game since FM2. Maybe I'm just a sucker for a good soundtrack in a game, but the menus, career advancement, and music all seemed more like a focus group product than something organically hatched by game developers making a game for car enthusiasts. Well, no matter the soundtrack, most gamers will turn off the menu music and such. The music in FM7 has a bluesy rock kind of feeling to it, which happens to be one of my favorite genres. Well, aside from personal preference, the ambient working garage noises inside your virtual garage, and the fact that the menus are mostly set in said virtual garage anyway, just help with the total immersion that many players are looking for. A lighter tone being added to the experience just makes it more fun overall, as in games past, everything but the driving aspect of Motorsport seemed drab, and had the feel that it took itself way too seriously. It's about time Forza loosened up and had some fun! Weather obviously has a key role in the outcome of every race.
Cow. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows.
FM7's new weather engine, while it took a long time to get here, is nothing short of amazing, as rain will gradually roll in and out of the track area as the storm system moves. Gone are the crazy lake-sized pedals from FM6 that you needed a watertight car to get across.
Alone at last.
And the skies in the game, both during and after rains, are nothing short of awesome. Now, in real life, if lightning was in the area, they would stop the race and get the corner workers to safety, but considering no one's life's at risk here, I'll drive right through those lightning strikes, thank you. Working alongside that weather engine are the new physics, offering up a ton more grip than in the two previous iterations of the game, and harking back to the motorsport zenith of FM4. The pinball physics of the cars with spring-loaded bumpers are tamed down, especially with upgraded tire compounds. The shaking of everything from tailpipes to radio antennas is the stuff that right foot down and do smiles are made of. Gas longer, brake deeper, and let the grip carry you through the corners like...
Ferrari 365 GTB4 Daytona, Le Mans, 1971. Quad cam? That's a V12. V12, right.
Wow, this might be hard to drive with such a huge throbbing erection.
Was there any doubt. Number 1 on this list is the massive expanse of wildly diverse cars available in FM7. Some of these vehicles aren't even cars. Off-road vehicles, sport compact, modern muscle, early sport tours, and JDM classics are just the tip of the iceberg that sank the Titanic.
I'll never let go. I promise.
You know, if the Titanic were other racing games. Shut up. Sure, some of these cars are a little bit or a lot off for a motorsport game, but admit it, you probably have that dirty dozen of cars that are go-to faves and probably have been for years now. My top one right now is the 95 ZR1 Corvette. That is until Turn 10 breaks down and gives me an 89 Chevrolet Beretta GTU. Hey, come on, I've been asking for years. All the Chevys in here are either land yachts or Corvettes. A Beretta GTU would fit nicely in between those two. And speaking of your go-to cars, my question for my viewers this week is, what is your dirty dozen? Name your top 12 cars that are your most competitive, or just the funnest to drive. I really want to see how diverse these answers get on this one. Speaking of viewers, this week's subscriber shoutout goes out to Half Hands Dan and the Sandwich House. Ironically enough, Half Hands Dan and I drove around previous Forzas with the same group of friends, but we didn't communicate or even start racing together until as of late. I was aware he only drove the automatic transmission in-game, and when I asked him, stupidly, this was his video response. Mr. Dan was in a horrific car accident when he was 19 that left him paralyzed. After some time, he did reacquire the use of his hands, if only partially. And this is how he games. Talk about a die-hard gamer. As a matter of fact, Dan is such a dedicated gamer that in the spring he will begin live game streaming from his house 24/7 with a few of his friends. They're calling it the Sandwich House Project. I just love that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here, as I'll be posting updates once they're about ready to put on the big show. And as always, you can keep up with Dan, the Sandwich House, myself, and the rest of the honorary cruisers on the official Cruisers Gaming Facebook page, the link to which will be down below. Wait, you're not a fellow cruiser? What? Well, hit the subscribe button for Forza Friday vids, and make sure to join that notification squad for random real-life car racing vids during the week. If you have subscribed, I thank you. And remember, friends are the family we get to choose. I'll see you next week, fellow cruisers.